at it again, and we got to talk about disgraced pollster Ann Selzer, because she recently made an announcement, and it almost seems as if Trump made her rage quit, because she made the announcement that she is officially retiring. Yeah. You remember Ann Selzer, the woman, who had the polls out of Iowa? That and the poll, it actually caused a stir on X after she had released it, because it had Kamala up by 3. And then all of mainstream media was bragging about it, including Rachel Maddow, which I'm going to show you guys that clip as well. And she ended up being off by 16 points. Yeah. She called it quits. Trump literally made this woman rage quit. Now, of course, she denies it. Okay, and I'll play that clip as well towards the end. But before we get into that, let's get into Rachel Maddow bragging and smiling from ear to ear about this Iowa poll from Ann Selzer and how great and fantastic it was, because she is a gold standard pollster. As we all know, the gold standard pollsters are not the mainstream media pollsters. They're the Rich Barrises of the world. They are the Atlas Intels of the world. They are not these folks, okay? We know who the gold standard pollsters truly are. And of course, mainstream media will never acknowledge these pollsters, but we always will. But with that being said, let's dive in.
We are still in a news environment in which there are good polls. And particularly where in some states there is a gold standard pollster who appears to be unaffected by larger dynamics that are making everybody whine about the polls. And the reason those individual pollsters get the gold standard designation is both because of their proven sound methodology, but also because of their track record over time in that particular jurisdiction. And the prototypical example of a gold standard poll is the Iowa poll done by Ann Selzer, by Ann Selzer in Iowa. The polls that she produces for the Des Moines Register in Iowa, specifically the final Iowa polls she does before each major election, her polls are known for their uncanny predictive accuracy. This is Ann Selzer's recent track record. I mean, what you see here is in each election year what her final poll said the result would be in Iowa. Next to that is what the actual result was on Election Day. And as you can see, if you look at the Senate and presidential races since 2012, her poll has accurately predicted the winner of the Senate and presidential races in Iowa within 1 or 2 points every time. There was a governor's race in 2018 where things went a little bit gang-a-glay, but in Senate and presidential races, you have seen Ann Selzer basically as a living bullseye. And that's why lots of people had strong reactions when the Des Moines Register Ann Selzer Iowa poll was posted last night. This is that poll, and it is a shock result. It shows Kamala Harris ahead of Donald Trump by 3 points in Iowa. And the reason this is consequential to our psyche is that if this is accurate, and if anybody is accurate, it's likely to be Ann Selzer in the Iowa poll. If this is accurate, this implies that Harris might be winning Iowa. 3 points, granted, is within the margin of error here, but it's 3 points. Iowa is a state where neither campaign has spent any time or resources since the primaries. They don't have a ground game there. They don't have ads up there. Trump won Iowa by 8 points last time and 9 points the time before that. Nobody thinks of it as a swing state. A Democratic presidential candidate hasn't won Iowa since Barack Obama in 2012. But here she is with a lead. In addition to that top-line lead, the poll's internal numbers show dynamics in terms of women voters, and particularly older women voters, that could, again, if they hold, have really major implications beyond Iowa. I mean, the Iowa poll shows that women who are political independents favor Harris by nearly 30 points. Women over the age of 65 support Harris over Trump by 35 points. Actually, look at this. This, in some ways, to me, is even more shocking. With all voters over age 65, the Iowa poll has Harris plus 19 over Trump. That's driven by her huge margin with women over 65, but even men over 65 in this poll are plus 2 for Harris. If the Democratic candidate is winning voters over 65, full stop, we have a very different race on our hands than we thought we did. Right? If that dynamic really is happening in Iowa, there's no reason to think it might not be happening in other states as well. It would just mean a wildly different scenario than what we have been talking about. So that is why people have freaked out about this one poll. This poll in particular, because it is this pollster, and she's got her track record, and this is out of a state where nobody saw it coming.
So yeah, you heard that there. Absolutely shameful stuff. And I literally just talked about this. That's why mainstream media has lost their credibility. Do you truly think that Rachel Maddow didn't know that that poll was a complete and utter outlier and it was total BS? Do you really believe that Rachel Maddow didn't know that? I refuse to buy that. I refuse to buy that she didn't know that that poll was total BS. I refuse. I refuse to believe that. I refuse. Absolute insanity. And then they wonder why MSNBC is, the ratings are cut in half now. Viewership is down by more than by half. Interesting. Also, I was thinking as she was talking, and we know that Kamala blew through over $1 billion in 3 months. I've been trying to wrap my mind around, like, how in the world was she possibly doing this? And here's another way that I think she possibly was doing it. Pollsters like Ann Selzer. Now, I don't know this with any certainty, okay? I don't have any behind the scenes information on this, but I believe, okay? I don't have any facts to back this up. It's just my own personal opinion, but I believe she paid people like Ann Selzer millions of dollars to put out a BS poll like that. Because why else would she put out a BS poll like that? I don't know. Maybe she was Trump deranged. I don't know. But for Kamala to have blown through $1 billion in 3 months, and for a random Ann Selzer poll to drop like that was completely bogus. I don't know. I mean, $1 billion, random poll that drops that is total BS. Seems like some money might have exchanged hands there, but who knows? What do y'all think? Let me know. Here is the clip of Ann Selzer talking about that poll before the election. Check it out.
It was a shock, believe you me. When I went into the office after the first night of interviewing, no one would expect that Kamala Harris would have leapfrogged over Donald Trump into the lead. In that, the demographics more likely than average to say they will definitely vote or that they've already voted are strong Harris demographics. It's women, it's college educated, it's younger people. It's older people as well. The incidence of voting, if you're age 64 and over, is like 94%. That's a really big number, and she does very well with older Iowans. In fact, she wins by 20 points with Iowa women, and just 14 go for Trump. The margin is 14 for Trump.
If you're joining
One thing to be crystal clear about the importance of older people is older women. Her ratio of win in women age 65 and over is 2 to 1.
Interesting.
That's a huge part of her success.
Yeah. So that was her talking about the poll, immediately after, it was released before the election. Now, mind you.
Right. Okay. So no.
Hold on, Mark Halperin. Hold on. You jumping the gun here. This is the same woman who went on a show with Mark Halperin, who I've shown you guys Mark Halperin. Actually, I came across him like right before the election, and I started showing you guys some of his clips, days before the election and leading up to it. And actually, I think I showed you guys a couple clips after the election. But Mark Halperin interviewed Ann Selzer and was asking her some questions about the Iowa poll crosstabs. And she didn't even know. Bro, this is mind-blowing to me. She's been a pollster for this long, and she didn't even know what the D and the R represented. Oh my god! Like, just watch the clip. Just watch the clip. You guys are gonna understand why I'm over here chuckling at this, because this is a gold standard pollster. Remember, she's the gold standard. He's asking her questions about her poll. Check out her answer, man.
Right. Okay. So Noah, are you able to put up that tweet? Maybe it's up and I can't see it because
It's up.
It's up. All right. Ann, are you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay. Could you just go through and say what you think about those criticisms?
Well, I'm trying. This is in a format that's a little difficult for me to see. What does this D represent and the R represent?
So they're saying that, and again, he says read through the Seltzer crosstabs.
Yeah.
So right,
The,
they're saying that they know that this poll shows, and again, it's they say your sample is got it's more 3% more Democrats than Republican, whereas the electorate last time was eight
oh, I
percent more
see.
Republican. It says that you have Indies voting Democrat +4, whereas last time they
Yeah.
voted or +7 +4. So
Yeah.
they're saying if you compare what you have with what happened in 20, according to the exit polls, it's way too big a change across all these groups in a uniform way towards pro Harris as opposed to Trump.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time I'm seeing this, and so it's sort of against my nature to think I understand everything that this is saying, and I haven't cross-checked these numbers to know how that actually pans
Yeah.
out. But I'm going to say that it is clear that senior women are an advantage to Kamala Harris in our poll. Kamala Harris wins by more than 2 to 1, actually, maybe even more than that among senior women. It's a big, big spread. So I don't know. I do. I mean, the
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. So she literally didn't even know what her own crosstabs were. And not only did she not know that, but she didn't know what a D and an R represented. Really? What could they possibly represent? Like, goodness gracious. And this is who people like Rachel Maddow called the gold standard of polling. The gold standard. Not Atlas Intel, who was the most accurate pollster in 2020 and in 2024. Not Atlas Intel, not people like Rich Barris, who were completely accurate. Okay? Not Rasmussen, who was accurate. This woman who can't even read her own crosstabs. Oh my gosh. You can't make this stuff up. You genuinely can't make this stuff up. But Trump made this woman rage quit. We're going to read a little bit here. J.Ann Selzer pollster who predicted Kamala Harris would win Iowa retires after massive miss. Man, I'm loving this. Man, I am loving this. J.Ann Selzer is retiring from election polling just weeks after her once respected polls showed that Kamala Harris was leading in Iowa, only for Trump to win the state by more than 13 percentage points on election day. Oh, man. The much mocked Des Moines Register Mediacom Iowa poll released the Saturday before Election Day erroneously projected Vice President Kamala Harris 3 points ahead of President-elect Donald Trump in the race of Iowa's 6 electoral votes. That was a 7-point shift toward Harris from the same survey a month prior, and 16 points off the real election results. The poll sent shockwaves across the country, sparking hope among Democrats that Harris had a chance to win a state that Trump carried effortlessly in 2016 and 2020. Once considered a swing state, Iowa is now reliably red and hasn't voted for a Democrat in a presidential contest since re-electing Barack Obama in 2012. Yeah. She literally destroyed her reputation for Kamala. Now, do I have any proof of that? No. I don't have any proof from her. But, if you were moderately accurate in all these elections before, and then all of a sudden you come out with this BS poll where you're 16 points off, like you're not even in the ballpark. Like, it would have been one thing if she was like within 5 points, 6 points, but even then she still would have said, hey, Trump's projected to win. Like, no. She was off by 16. What's the point of being a pollster if you're off by 16? What's the point? Like, I could have guessed that my darn self. Right? You're just coming up with numbers at that point. Like, goodness gracious. Oh, man. This is... And of course, she admits that the timing is... In a guest op-ed for the Des Moines Register, the veteran Iowa Pollster claimed her departure has been in the works for over a year and plans to transition to other ventures and opportunities. Would I have liked to make this announcement after a final poll aligned with the election day results? Of course. It's ironic that it's just the opposite, Selzer wrote. Still, the timing of this transition raised some eyebrows on X, where Selzer doubled down that her departure wasn't due to her imprecise Iowa poll. No, I'm sure. It had nothing to do with how inaccurate you were and that your reputation is absolutely destroyed at this point. Has nothing to do with that, of course. It's been in the work for over a year. Like, is that possible? Maybe, sure, but... And maybe that's why she just didn't care about how inaccurate this poll was, because she knew she was retiring immediately after anyway. Maybe that's the case. Or maybe she made a couple of dollars and cents out of that billion that Kamala blew through. What do y'all think? Let me know. Trump made her rage quit, and I love it. Y'all let me know your thoughts and your opinions. As always, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Peace and love. I'm out.